we're looking at the period from a graph and examining the context of trigonometry here. So it's easiest to kind of look at where it hits the y-axis and use that kind of as our starting value. And then we would say, when does it go up again in that kind of curve? So as we go down and then we go up again, does it repeat itself right here? And it sure looks like it. So then it repeats itself and it repeats itself. So in this context, it looks like we could just pick this curve up and put it on right here. And it repeats itself and it repeats itself in that context. And it's helpful to kind of recognize that it continues to repeat itself in other directions. So we're just looking at one of these segments. How far or what's the distance of one of these segments? So we would look at the change. The change is, on this one, it's 2 pi. And right here is 0. And we can use the same type of aspect anywhere. So the change, it is represented by a triangle. That means change. The change here would be the second minus the first. So the second minus first, or I would call it, we can call it x2 minus x1. So this would be the change in x. The second one is, this would be our second one, x2. This is our first one, x1. And so that would be 2 pi minus 0 is equal to 2 pi. So this graph repeats itself every 2 pi. That's what the idea of period is how long does it take to repeat itself? 2 pi. Let's see how they did it. They're just kind of analyzing it, and x values where the cycle repeats itself. Yep. All right. And then notice the points that they're examining. Those are the important points. It's a maximum here. It's crossing the midline here. It's a minimum here, crossing the midline, crossing the midline. So those are the significant points on this oscillating trig function. Okay. Let's try the next one. Let's see what the period is here. I like starting at the y-axis. And this is going up. When's the next time it goes up? And right here. Okay. So that would be 0 for my x1. This would be pi for my x2. And our change in x's, or the period in this case, is equal to x2 minus x1, which is pi minus 0, which is equal to pi. Okay. And sorry about that extra 0 floating around there. So there's our answer. It repeats itself every pi. Okay. And I think they're just doing it visually. Yes. See if the next one's any different. And it looks exactly the same. I would start it right here. Okay. So this is the going down idea. It's starting to go down at this spot. And then it would go down again right here. And same idea. So this would be 8 pi over 5. This is our 0. So in this case, I really recommend putting it into this change formula to kind of get used to it. But we can see that this is our answer as you do more of these. But like I said, be careful about taking shortcuts. Make sure you know why you're doing what you're doing.